The blackout exercise begins. The trailer reeks of sweat, burnt coffee, and tension. Monitors glow dim. Antennae hum faintly against the storm outside. Soldiers shuffle in, confident, brash. She enters last. Private Elise Tran, 24. Small frame, regulation bun, uniform crisp but plain. Her file says linguist. Her call sign, ignored by most, is echo. To them, she's nothing more than a desk translator dragged into field training. Captain Dwyer, the lead signals officer, eyes her with disdain. "What's she doing here? This isn't a classroom." His voice cuts sharp through the static of radios warming up. A ripple of laughter follows. One sergeant mutters, "Hope she brought a dictionary." Another, "Maybe she'll translate Morse into bedtime stories." Their smirks hang heavy in the cramped trailer. Elise doesn't react. She places her headset on the desk quietly, her eyes fixed not on them, but on the flickering green spectrum lines across the primary screen. She listens, calm, steady. They think it's silence. They think it's weakness. Colonel Rains steps in then, the validator. Weathered, stoic, silver hair beneath his cap. He scans the room. 30 minutes. Simulated enemy comms will flood the band. Your task? Intercept and isolate patterns before the breach signal. Fail, and the base goes dark. The order hangs heavy. Failure here means disgrace. Every unit watching the feed outside. The humiliation would be permanent. Dwyer grins like the game is already won. He gestures at Elise with a dismissive wave. "Keep her in the corner. She can practice conjugating verbs while we work." The laughter grows sharper, now public, encouraged. "Maybe she'll teach the enemy how to say please," someone says. A corporal leans close, sneering. "You'll last 5 minutes, translator." Elise adjusts the gain knob on her console, hand steady, face unreadable. Her silence is armor. The first signals pour in, bursts of static, coded numbers, scrambled frequencies. The room comes alive with shouts. Channel 3 locked. Noise filters breaking. Fingers fly across keyboards, sweat beads on brows. But Elise hears more. Beneath the chaos, a faint rhythm, irregular but deliberate. She doesn't move. Not yet. Timing is everything. Dwyer notices her stillness. "Do you even know what you're listening to?" His voice drips contempt. He steps closer, loud enough for all to hear. "This is warfighting, not word search puzzles. Stay out of the way." The soldiers snicker. A sergeant raises his phone, recording, whispering, "Look at her, statue translator." Already planning the clip for later mockery. Elise lowers her gaze to the screen. She presses 2 keys. The spectrum shifts. A whisper of a pattern sharpens for a fraction of a second. Her lips part slightly, but she says nothing. Not yet. The insults intensify. One soldier dumps a half-empty coffee cup near her console, liquid splashing dangerously close. "Oops, guess you're on cleanup duty too." The group laughs. The stench of stale coffee and ridicule fills the air. Colonel Rains watches quietly from the back, expression unreadable. He doesn't intervene, not yet. His eyes rest on Elise, measuring. She sits straighter, headset snug, ignoring the jeers. Through the static, the faint pattern returns. 2 short bursts, a pause, then 3 long. It repeats, barely audible. To her it isn't noise, it's a heartbeat. Dwyer leans over her shoulder, sneering. "Hear any poetry in there, translator? Any bedtime lullabies?" His chuckle draws another wave of laughter. Elise says nothing, but her finger hovers near the record key, her body tense as a drawn bow. She knows what's hidden in the storm of signals, not yet the reveal. For now, she endures, letting their arrogance swell. The blackout exercise timer ticks down. 20 minutes left. Sweat and mockery choke the room. The soldier's confidence masks fear. Elise listens deeper, her silence louder than their scorn, because she already knows what they don't. The noise isn't noise at all. It's a message, and only she can hear it. The storm tightens around the trailer. Rain hammers the metal roof like drumfire. Inside, the noise floor climbs. Exercise inject 2 inbound. The controller crackles. New bursts flood the spectrum. Voices rise, curses stack, keyboard clatter spikes. Elise tracks the waterfall display. She nudges the gain down one notch. The faint 5-beat rhythm survives. It hides under a rising hiss. Captain Dwyer moves to her console. He slaps a laminated checklist on her keyboard. Translator, he says, do something useful. He taps the page. Inventory headsets, then coil the spares. Snickers ripple. Desk duty for the desk girl, someone says. A phone camera lingers on her hands. She slides the checklist aside. She keeps her eyes on the weak cadence under 7.041 MHz. It ticks like a failing metronome. 2 short, gap, 3 long, repeat. Dwyer leans nearer. You deaf or disobedient? His breath smells like burned coffee. Pick up the coil. Elise lifts the headset coil. She places it down. She turns a dial instead. The pattern clarifies for half a beat, then vanishes in noise. Dwyer snatches her ID lanyard. He flips it for the room. Private Elise Tran, linguist. He waves it like a flag. Outstanding. Translate this static. Laughter cracks loud. A corporal claps slowly. Static says she's useless. Colonel Rains watches from the back corner. His arms fold. His face is stone. He says nothing. The timer ticks to 14:58. The base feed flashes yellow. Simulated intrusion escalating, the controller warns. Find the breach preamble. On it, Dwyer answers. He shoulders her aside with a casual bump. Real operators at real consoles. Elise regains her footing. She doesn't look up. She opens a narrow band notch and breathes once. Rain roars harder. The trailer smells like wet wool and ozone. The inject shifts. A new carrier rises at 4.266 MHz. It warbles, then stabilizes. Soldiers crowd lane 3. Got it, they shout. Carrier locked. Elise hears the old cadence fade on 7 MHz. She hears it reappear, weaker, at 10.512. It stutters like a heartbeat skipping. She marks nothing. She waits. The second humiliation arrives on cue. The sergeant with the phone returns. Smile, translator. He angles the lens down. He films her boots. Show the audience your combat stance. Another laughs. Maybe she can file minutes after we lose power. Someone slides a cardboard coffee lid across her desk. Coaster for your feelings. Elise shifts the lid aside. She opens a blank capture buffer. She does not press record. The timer punches 11:20. The trailer heat climbs. Condensation beads on the vents. Screens fog at the edges. The air tastes metallic. Filter 3 just bricked, a tech yells. Restarting. He slams keys. The waterfall skates and redraws. Dwyer points at Elise's screen. Unplug her rig. We need the UPS line. He doesn't look at her. She isn't contributing. A private yanks her power conditioner. Her scope blinks dark. The faint cadence dies. The room exhales like it won something. Elise sets her hands in her lap. She counts the seconds. She listens with only the trailer's dish bleed through the bulkhead. The rain helps. It masks what pride cannot. Colonel Rains shifts one step. His boot creaks on the floor seam. He still says nothing. The inject spikes. The whole spectrum washes white for 3 seconds. When it clears, the room cheers. Carrier regained at 4266, they shout. Bingo! Elise lifts her chin. She hears the cadence glide again. It rides just above the noise at 13.782. Quieter now, more deliberate. Someone is moving the shell game. She looks at the dead screen. She doesn't ask for power. She closes her eyes. She counts the interval between pulses. 2 short, gap, 3 long. Then a longer silence. Dwyer catches the look. It angers him. He strides back with a grin sharpened for the audience. Translator, he says, run an errand. He holds out a grease pencil and a rag. Go outside. Mark the busted cokes where it enters the trailer. Try not to drown. The room enjoys it too much. Bring back a souvenir, a private calls. Like lightning. Elise takes the rag. She takes the pencil. She pauses by the door. Rain shivers the hatch. The generator thumps a steady bass line outside. Colonel Rains speaks at last. Clock is at 0740, he says. His voice is even. No one leaves the compound fence. Dwyer waves him off with a tight smile. She'll be 3 meters from the door, sir. Elise steps into the storm. Water slaps her face and collar. The wind grabs the rag. It tries to take the pencil too. She traps both in her fist. Under the eave, the coax droops from a rain gutter bend. She reaches up. The pencil squeaks against wet rubber. She marks the split housing in one stroke. Thunder rolls. A half-second later, the generator hiccups. The trailer's lights dim, then steady. From inside, laughter spikes again. "Look at her," someone says near the hatch. "Finally doing something tangible." Elise ignores them. She listens to the rain on the metal. Beneath it, she hears a skip she knows intimately now. 2 short, gap, 3 long. Then a new artifact. A chirp, faint as breath. She lowers her hand. She turns back in. Water drips from her sleeves. Mud freckles her boots. Her console remains dark. Dwyer takes the rag from her fingers like a trophy. Outstanding work, Private. Heroic repairs. The timer hits 05:59. The base feed flashes orange. Breach preamble imminent, the controller warns. All stations confirm. Every head bends to their screens. Every finger hovers above record. Their confidence trembles now. They smell danger under their laughter. Elise stands behind her dead scope. She doesn't ask for permission. She doesn't ask for power. She just listens. Because the cadence is closer. Because the chirp is new. Because the storm's drumbeat cannot hide a heartbeat forever. And because the next sound won't be noise. It will be the first thread she pulls. The countdown bleeds under 6 minutes. The trailer pulses with panic. Monitors flare, scopes blur with overlapping spikes. Voices overlap like crossfire. "Carrier locked! Lane 4! "No, it drifted. Reset the filter! Noise floor's climbing, I can't track it!" The storm outside hammers steel. Thunder rattles the thin walls. Inside, sweat drips. Keyboards slam. Tempers snap. Captain Dwyer barks over the chaos, his voice harsh with authority and pride. "Ignore anything above 10 megahertz. Focus lanes 3 and 4. That's the intrusion window." His eyes cut to Elise like a blade. "Translator, you're wasting oxygen. Back against the wall." Laughter bursts from the ranks. "Finally, put her where she belongs. Desk duty can't handle combat duty. Maybe she'll translate our obituaries." Phones rise again. Someone films her silent face, waiting for humiliation to finish the scene. Elise doesn't move. Her console sits dead, unplugged, but her ears haven't stopped listening. She tilts her head slightly. Under the static, under the storm, it beats again. 2 short. Pause. 3 long. Then the faint chirp, insistent as a heartbeat. She opens her eyes. Her voice is calm. Channel 13.782. Upper band. That's where it is. The trailer stills for a heartbeat. Then the room erupts in mockery. 13 megahertz? That's open trash spectrum. She's hallucinating patterns. Pick a random number, get the same result. Dwyer smirks. See? Desk translator playing operator. Pathetic. Colonel Rains doesn't laugh. His weathered eyes lock on her face. He says nothing, but he doesn't look away. Elise lowers her gaze. She reaches for the breaker. With a firm press, her console hums back to life. The dark scope flickers, green lines blooming across the screen. Static roars in her headset. Her fingers move fast. Gain down 2 notches. Narrow filter engaged. She leans in, every muscle taut with focus. There it is. Weak, fragile, but real. A ripple across the waterfall. A pulse. 2. Pause. 3. The chirp follows, faint but deliberate. Then silence. Then again. She presses record. The buffer fills with raw code. She doesn't explain yet. She overlays timestamps, her keystrokes clean and fast. Lines begin to stack, symmetrical, undeniable. Dwyer strides over, smirk fixed. That's random ionospheric scatter. Nothing more. Elise doesn't look at him. She turns the scope toward the room. Her voice cuts through the storm. It's Morse, deliberate, someone's knocking. For the first time, all exercise silence falls. On the screen, the sequence prints in pale green. 2, 3, over and over, anchored by the chirp. A corporal stares, lips parting. It, it repeats. Rains steps forward. His boots thud heavy on the trailer floor. He bends closer, eyes narrowing. Say it aloud, Private. Elise does. Her voice steady, her tone unshaken. 2 short, gap, 3 long. Chirp, pause, repeat. The colonel straightens. His verdict is sharp, final. That's a preamble. Enemy handshake before the breach. The words slice the air. The sneers fade, phones lower. The laughter dies, strangled by reality. For the first time, the soldier's eyes shift. Not with mockery, but with unease. They realize she's hearing something they missed. Something vital. Dwyer's jaw clenches. Coincidence, he snaps. Noise always aligns if you squint. But his voice is thinner now, defensive. Rains cuts him off cold. Without this vector, we'd be blind in 4 minutes. She caught it. You didn't. The trailer holds its breath. Sweat drips. The countdown blares 04:30. Elise sits straighter. She doesn't smile. She doesn't gloat. She simply listens deeper. Because she knows the cadence isn't finished. This was only the first thread. The signal hides more secrets. And she's the only one hearing them. The timer blares, 04:29. Every soldier leans into their consoles, sweat dripping, tension snapping sharp. The storm outside crashes like artillery, but inside the trailer the silence is heavier, taut with disbelief. Colonel Raines's words still hang. Enemy handshake before the breach. The room can't swallow it. They don't want to believe it came from her. Dwyer forces a grin. One lucky guess doesn't make a soldier. Let's see her repeat it. He gestures at Elise's console like he owns it. Translate the thunder, translator. Impress us again. Jeers rise. Weaker this time, but still biting. Maybe the storm's her tutor. She'll get lucky twice. Let her embarrass herself properly. Elise ignores them. She dials carefully, steady as breath. The faint cadence shifts again, sliding across spectrum like a snake. The chirp doubles. Now a trailing echo rides its back. Her eyes sharpen. Her hand stills. She overlays the new buffer. Characters align. Listen, she says quietly. She taps her headset's monitor button. The trailer fills with the sound, a distorted pattern of short bursts, the chirp punctuating each string. To most, it's noise, but she speaks over it. Dash, dot, 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 dash, dash, clear as day. They've moved to a repeating key. It isn't random. It's a challenge and response protocol. Dwyer's smirk falters. You can't know that. Elise's hands fly across the keyboard. She pulls up the cipher grid, old but functional. The characters she's logging cascade across the screen. Each line tightens into symmetry. Her voice cuts through the static. They're spoofing our own beacons. If we don't isolate this, the entire base grid accepts a false handshake. The trailer stills. Soldiers glance at one another. Their bravado cracks. Colonel Raines leans closer. Show me. Elise highlights the buffer. Line after line prints. Repeating in perfect rhythm. A mimic key. A parasite ready to overwrite. Raines nods once. Confirmed. That's hostile injection. Murmurs rise. Phones slide back into pockets. The sneers melt into frowns. For the first time, the soldiers aren't mocking. They're listening. Dwyer's jaw works, but no words come. The timer flashes. 02:10. The air hums, hot, electric. Elise doesn't stop. She tunes higher. The faint heartbeat fractures, splitting into 2 carriers. One fades left, the other spikes right. Like twin shadows in the fog. She narrows the filter again. The twin signals resolve, one pure, one jagged. A decoy and the real path. Her voice doesn't rise, but the room leans in. Left channel's bait, the right channel's clean. Watch. She types 3 commands. Her console isolates the waveforms. The bait drifts into noise. The right channel holds, steady, precise. The sequence blooms on screen. Access, node, arm, Machine-coded shorthand, but undeniable. The breach trigger. The trailer gasps. A corporal whispers, "God help us." Colonel Rains slams his palm on the console. His voice booms, final. "That's the breach code. Without her, we'd already be dark." Silence crashes heavier than thunder. Every eye turns to Elise, not mocking, not sneering, just stunned. For the first time since she entered the trailer, respect flickers in the air. Uneasy, reluctant, but real. Dwyer opens his mouth, then shuts it. His face drains. His pride breaks under the weight of fact. Elise lowers her headset slowly. She doesn't gloat. She doesn't need to. The screen in front of her speaks louder than words. The timer freezes at 01:45. The base feed flashes green. Intrusion path contained. Validation is complete. Colonel Rains turns, his voice carrying iron. Log it official. Private Elise Tran identified, isolated, and confirmed breach sequence. Effective immediately. Her authority on this op stands above rank. The trailer holds its breath. Soldiers who laughed minutes ago now sit in silence, hands frozen, eyes down. Elise looks straight ahead. Calm, silent, unmoved. Because this was only the beginning. The storm outside howls like artillery. Rain lashes the thin trailer walls. Thunder rattles every bolt loose. Inside, alarms shriek as the countdown bleeds red. Rero 59, Rero 58, Rero 57. The breach accelerates. Enemy code slams every channel. Jagged waves stabbing across the spectrum like knives. Screens blur. Filters collapse. "Signal spreading!" a tech shouts. "Encryption melting down!" another cries. The room spirals into chaos. Soldiers who mocked Elise minutes ago claw at consoles with shaking hands. Their earlier arrogance dissolves into pure fear. Captain Dwyer stands frozen, face pale, sweat streaking his temples. His voice breaks. "It's in every channel. We've lost the grid. We can't isolate it." The trailer stills. Dozens of eyes snap toward Elise. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't raise her voice. She simply slides her chair forward. The headset seals over her ears, and the noise roars in like a tidal wave. Her hands move, swift, precise, deliberate. She opens 3 spectrum windows, stacking them on top of each other. The chaos shrieks, layers of static colliding. Most would see only white noise. She sees structure. 47 seconds, she murmurs. The same interval keeps repeating. Dwyer stares, bewildered. "What are you—" "Shut up and listen." Her first sharp words all night cut through the panic. She aligns the 3 spectrums. Suddenly, the chaos collapses. 3 ragged lines merge into one perfect pulse, glowing bright, sharp as a heartbeat on a monitor. The enemy's true signal, exposed. Gasps fill the room. Soldiers lean forward, jaws slack. They hid the breach inside the noise floor. Elise explains, her voice steady. They thought no one would notice, but patterns don't lie. Her fingers blur over the keyboard. She builds a counter sequence, her own Morse, her own cadence. The trailer vibrates as the transmitter hums alive. Counter injection active. The static surges. The lights flicker. The trailer shakes like the storm itself is fighting back. Then, one deafening silence. The enemy signal dies. The countdown halts at 0:12. The base feed blinks green. Intrusion terminated. Network secure. For a moment, no one breathes. Then Colonel Rains slams his palm against the console, his voice booming. Private Elise Tran just saved this installation. Without her, Blackout would have been reality. Respect floods the room. Soldiers rise slowly, some shamefaced, others wide-eyed. The phones that once filmed her humiliation now hang limp, forgotten. Dwyer's lips part, but no words come. His pride lies broken in the static. Elise removes her headset with calm precision. She scans the room. The same soldiers who mocked her now stripped of arrogance. Her voice is low, final, unforgettable. Noise tells truth. The words hang like thunder. And this time, no one dares to laugh. The storm begins to fade, rain softening against the trailer roof. Inside, the air feels different. Not frantic, not mocking, heavy with respect. The countdown timer blinks idle green. The breach is gone. The network is safe. For the first time, no one dares to laugh at Elise Tran. Soldiers sit quietly, heads bowed over their consoles. The same men who jeered, who filmed her humiliation for sport, now steal guilty glances at the woman they mocked as Translator. Their pride has curdled into shame. Captain Dwyer clears his throat, but no words come. His arrogance has been drowned in the silence. He lowers his eyes. Colonel Rains steps forward. His boots strike the floor with purpose. He stops at Elise's side, his weathered face grave but proud. "Private Tran," he says, voice strong, "you carried this operation. You proved what others could not see. That deserves more than recognition. It deserves our respect." He raises his hand in salute. The trailer follows, one by one, until every soldier stands at attention, saluting the woman they had dismissed. Elise doesn't smile. She doesn't gloat. She simply nods, quiet, steady. Her silence is the sharpest answer of all. Outside, lightning fades into distant rumble. The base hums with restored power. And in the heart of that storm's passing stands Elise, no longer the ridiculed translator, but the soldier who saved them all. If Elise's story struck a chord, if you've ever been underestimated, laughed at, or silenced, remember this: your strength is not measured by their scorn, but by your proof. Share this story, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more underdog battles where dignity turns mockery into awe. Because sometimes the noise carries the truth.